face cam all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey everybody, this is Anne. Welcome to Reaper Toolbox Live, and we are here today to continue our eternal work on Julie Guthrie's Dance of Death diorama. Mr. Black Dragon is getting closer to done. How are you all today? And we're live. Yes, we are. We're live with Anne. Oh, and I've got something to show you guys. He's kind of hiding here. Let's see. Collins is riding herd on us today, guys. Justin is gallivanted off to do something more fun, apparently. I don't think there's anything more fun than this, but no accounting for taste.
In theory, he's playing in Florida.
Oh, he's in Florida. Well, all right. So let's show off Mr. Bones 5 Dragon, because he's gotten a little more work on him since. Here he is. Rawr. There you go. There's a really good profile. So, okay, guys, this is since last time Justin called me out and said we should preview some Bones 5 stuff. So this is a guy I'm working on for Ron, just for his cover shot for the Bones 5 Kickstarter. This is a very beefy dragon, as you can see, rawr. He looked kind of crocodile to me and kind of swampy, so I decided to do him as, he's melting, exactly. Decided to do him as a black dragon, just like this guy, but you'll notice I'm using very different color palettes, but they're both still pretty dark. So for this guy, he's swamp green and runic purple, you remember? And then this guy, I went with a little bit different. I decided I wanted to try highlighting that swampy green with a brighter blue, and I kind of like how it turned out. So I went with more of a traditional kind of beige color for the black dragon neck and frills, and then did the blue highlights. There is swamp green mixed into all of this. And the blue and the swamp green mixed together make more of a teal. So yet another way you can paint a non-black black dragon. Ta-da!
And are we going to be working on this during Kickstarter?
I was hoping to finish him a little bit faster than that, but we need to work on some Bones 5 stuff when the Kickstarter is running, so it could be this guy, or if I actually finish blocking in this guy, then we may work on a different model. Maybe I'll grab another dragon. So it'll all depend on how fast this guy goes.
So, folks, keep in mind that, let us know what you guys are thinking about what you want her to do as the Kickstarter takes off.
Rawr, rawr, he says rawr. As you can tell, we are putting heads in focus today because that's what we're working on for Dance of Death. You can also tell, actually, a bit how my painting style changes a bit when I have the time. Since Dance of Death was, we were working on him on camera, and he doesn't have as many hours into him. You can see also on the bigger dragon hat, rawr, his details are a bit sharper. So, when I have the time to tune and spend time on a model, I do tend to punch my highlights up a little bit higher than Mr. Dragonhead on Dance of Death has so far. So that's a finishing step that I would maybe do. You want to see the biggest miniature? Jerry, I don't know if we've got that one. I'm not sure what the biggest miniature is, actually. All right.
I'm still hoping for a Titan, Ann.
A Titan?
Pushing. Yeah, I want a giant...
A giganto thing. Collins wants a giganto thing. All right, yes, rawr, definitely rawr. Oh yeah, we're talking about free stuff. So for freeze today, guys, because you could get this during October if you spent money, or you could just type in free and get a ghoulie bag. This year it is the translucent purple female wraith with a lantern. She's pretty cool, sculpted by Bob and Julie. Bob Guthrie. Ha ha ha, I did it, Bob. I'm sorry, Bob. If you tune into this later, I just made that horrible mistake that everybody makes. Bob Rodolphi and Julie Guthrie. So so if you want a ghoulie bag free, which includes candy and paint, you should totally do a hashtag free.
And then we had also talked about, Ann, if I'm correct, if we get, for every 10 subs that we get, we're going to toss in an extra ghoulie bag.
Yeah, like right now we have 5 ghoulie bags to give away, but if we get 10 subs, we will toss in an additional ghoulie bag, so more people will get one. So as we go on, we shall see. I know a lot of you are subbed already, so don't feel guilty if you already subbed. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. We always appreciate those people.
Yeah, so I'm going to start. I promised you guys I would paint Dragon Face today, so that's why we're painting Dragon Face today. So I'm starting out with my swamp green with a little bit of stained ivory mixed into it just to make it a little lighter. And I'm just going to start painting scales, and I'm going to leave a lot of black. Because remember, when you want something to look black, you need to leave at least 50 to 75% of the surface black. So for this, I'm going to leave at least 50% of each of these scales black. You can get away with like 50% of the scale black and then like another 50% just kind of dark. That works. Ah, Reaper Scott B, you received your dragon. Thank you so much. You are welcome. You should actually thank Justin because he mails them out. He actually
At this point,
organizes
we're
that.
going to thank the internet department.
Thank the internet department.
Steal
Yeah,
that thunder from Justin.
Justin's actually a slacker and doesn't deserve any of that cred. Got it. See, this is what happens, Justin, when you're not here. We just sit and trash your name. Yay! So is everybody excited about the Bones 5 Kickstarter? Like, I'm excited. I don't know half of what's in it. I guess part of it is sitting here on the table with me, and I just haven't looked closely at it.
That may or may not be the starter set, but you never know.
Or it may be mostly the starter set. I do recognize a couple of models. Ron kind of showed me. For those who are excited about such things, I did the other day finalize what new paint colors were going into the Kickstarter. Yeah.
Wow, is there any hints that we can drop, or is that?
Well, some colors that may have been seen at ReaperCon, like Black Indigo, that was a real fan favorite, that may be showing up. We may see a couple of HD colors that people have asked for return. And we see some brand new colors. Some of them I've been kind of promoting privately because I made them because I love them for my own uses. And I decided to put them out as a triad. So for those who have heard me talk about things like super sexy purple or an awesome salmon color, those are coming out as flower colors. And they're very, very pretty. And the nice thing is that you can actually highlight the purple with the salmon and it looks amazing. And then we've got a really pretty kind of apple green color coming out in that triad as well.
Ooh, there we go. Jacob, thank you very much.
Oh, Jacob's got us on our... Jacob's got us. Like when we say sub, Jacob just takes some time to look up who needs a sub and just rock it. Grim, super sexy purple is a little bit too... I don't know. Not really a nipple color. I wonder if I have it on my plate. No, I didn't plan well enough. Maybe next week I'll bring up some of the prototype bottles of Kickstarter paint. Would you guys like that? Somebody remind me. Collins, remind me. And because by that time I should have a few of the samples actually poured.
What am I reminding you of?
To bring up sample bottles of the Kickstarter paint colors.
Okay. Absolutely. Maybe we can do a little like swatch.
Yeah, I actually made swatches for Ron the other day. They may still be in his office. We might be able to run over and snag those. Because there were a couple colors. Oh, a lot of you have asked Michael Proctor's favorite color, Carnival Purple. That's another ReaperCon color. It is going to be making an official comeback and be released in the Kickstarter colors. So it will actually be in the line and orderable. Because Michael was going to have a conniption if we didn't do that. And rightfully so. It is a pretty amazing color. So you can see, guys, that I'm just kind of slowly bringing up Dragon's face, just slightly. And I'll do a base layer with, mostly, I would say about, it's really swamp green with just a tiny touch of stained ivory in it. And then the next layer is more like, I want to say more like a 50-50 to bring up that olive green. And I'm just working on my palette, but I'm not really thinning my paint very much yet. I pre-thinned it in the wells, but this will be looking a little bit patchy out the gate, but it does help me set up everything. So I am going to turn it and kind of look at how I did the other side. Want to be consistent with our dragon faces. Got to get his eyelid up here. And if I get too much too green and he starts looking like a green dragon, then I'll go back and add more black. You're not wearing any paints. That's good for Isian. I'm always wearing paints. Actually, right now, no, I am still wearing paints on my pants. My Jennifer Haley and I always joke that, we have 2 or 3 different types of wardrobe. Part of our wardrobe has paint all over it. Part of our wardrobe has small amounts of paint, but is still wearable in public. And part of our wardrobe, a very small part, has no paint on it.
It's kind of like the old casters down there. I just remember days we'd come back and you'd have little flecks of metal inside of your shirt.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
Exactly. Rename it Proctor Purple. It's too late, Evil Elvis. I think I did actually put it out as Carnival Purple so that people would know what it is. That's the problem with renaming stuff. Like I did actually rename one of the colors that's coming out is Oxidized Brown, and it used to be Ruddy Brown. But that's to make it fit better into its triad. And I'm kind of rebranding it because it's a secret clear bright, and now it will be released. I want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing, so I'm trying to sneak my brush back so that I don't get in the way. That's the problem. It's like painting long distance. You're like kind of pulling back, but you still have to paint these tiny little things. You just can't get too close to it.
I feel like Freya's little OCD's kicking in. Taking
a little bit of OCD on the free there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Or on the.
I should put little paint on the insides of the paintless clothes for consistency. That's a brilliant idea for a scene.
Gotta make sure they all match.
Yeah, including my Renaissance fair gear. I don't know if I want to take the $500 Victorian gown and paint it. I think that would make me a little nervous. How is Jen doing? Shawnald, when I saw her at ReaperCon, she was doing pretty well. She is out there. Let's see here. When did I start doing horns? Okay, there. So I need to do his snout. More of his snout. Ooh, Jacob, that's gotta hurt. Like tendons, anything with tendons is just not fun. Which dragon is this? Nairo. This is from Dance of Death, Julie Guthrie's Dueling Dragons diorama. We can use a lot of alliteration when we talk about this. We had it around here somewhere. Oh, it's up there. We can always show it a little later. But yeah, to those new to us, this is one of the dragons that is fighting in the Dance of Death diorama. Collins will bring it down and put it here in front of me, and then we'll swap to face cam for a minute, and I can show you guys. All right, so here's face cam, and here are the dragons. So this is the bottom dragon of the Dance of Death.
And we've done the wings now, and
yeah, we've done most of the wings. We have one of the other wings needs the backside done still, and the body's mostly done. I'm doing the other side of the head today. For a lot of people didn't get to see when I did the first side, so we're doing the other side of the head, so I can show you the eyeball and the everything, and the teeth and the mouth. Yeah, blue and red would be a good set. I still haven't firmly decided on the color for Mr. Up Top Dragon. I was thinking white, silver, or somebody awesome said copper, I think, the other day.
I heard a lot of people asking for non-metallic metal.
I know. Well, copper or silver would work that way, huh? And, you don't want to see me pull my hair out over an NMM dragon. Or maybe you all do. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Like, for you, if I do NMM, then it's just going to take forever, and you get more streams. So, I guess it's all, all about you. Twitch stream. Twitch chat. Paint sets from Reaper Live Show. Good, Lady Daradago. I'm glad you got some free paint. Yeah, Nairo, the Dance of Death is a great model. It's really fantastic. Julie does some of the best dragons in the industry. She's been sculpting for ages. She used to do dragons for people like Partha and Grenadier back in the long ago days of miniatures, when Reaper first started. And she's just fantastic at dragons. She also did Maldrakar, our 5-headed dragon tyrant, and she did the Black Sting Wyvern from Bones 4 that just came out.
That guy was really popular.
Yeah, did we run out of him? Because I really wanted one.
Collins might have a stash or two, but for the most part, yeah, they were gone.
I might have to snag.
So was the Dance of Death there, too, also.
Yeah, I know Dance of Death we totally ran out of, especially because we were giving it away because that was our secret awesome promo the other day. We're going to have to do something really good for Christmas, Collins, for the Twitch. Some really good giveaway.
Yeah, I can. I think we have a lot of options that both throw us back to some of the older things that are still good, but also some new things that are coming out too.
Yeah, we should do a mix. We maybe want to do a few free Christmas grab bags, mystery grab bags, where we put some new and old and awesome in there, and do that for our as close to Christmas, whatever our stream is that's close to Christmas, and that would be super exciting. I think. We could even start kind of snagging and putting stuff aside now for it if we were really smart.
Ooh, wow.
I know that plans in advance, and that's against the Reaper way, but sometimes I do that. All right, Dragon. So I'm starting to thin my paint down a little bit because I'm working with a slightly lighter paint now on this side. You can see with the nostril that it's really gotten a bit brighter. You can see his face coming up there. Essentially, I'm leaving the black all in the shadows, and I'm trying to put 2 layers of highlighting. So the darker green, which is mostly swamp green, with just a touch of stained ivory. Swamp green is 9175, and stained ivory is 9142. It's one of my favorite kind of muting. If I want to use a color to lighten, but I don't want it to be white, and I want it to kind of make everything softer, I'll use stained ivory. Oh, you missed out on the cheap Melder card, Hudson. That's too bad, because that was an amazing Cap Mini. Holiday paint coming back. I'm not sure, Grim, if the holiday paint set is going to come back or not. It didn't do very well last year, so no idea. But tell you what, if we don't decide to bring a holiday paint set back, maybe I will make a few batches of some of the rarer colors from that, and we can give away some free. Maybe not the whole set, but I might be able to do like a few of the colors, and we can do some giveaways.
We've got all kinds of options, folks. So.
Yeah, we've got so much stuff that we've done. This is why I like doing things that are kind of special over the years, because coal black is fun. Yes, yes. All off blacks are very, very, very useful. I agree with you guys. But yeah, the nice thing about having out of print stuff, although it is sometimes frustrating, is that we have all sorts of special stuff that we can whip out and make people get all excited about for special things like the Twitch. So I am a proponent of such things. There is, I'm trying to think if we have similar color to coal black. Internet complained about coal black last time. Apparently its label gave them trouble. But we'll just ignore that. Have I decided? I think we did decide on the Christmas stocking colors, and coal black is not one of them because we did one last year. But maybe we could do a batch of coal black and do that just like Drown Nipple Pink for our streams and stuff toward the holidays. That would be fun. Noir Black is in print. 9289, I think?
Yeah, I think I even brought it up here.
Oh, did you? Did you grab some nice... should we give away like a special... Oh, yes, 9289. Haha. You know Anna's awesome and mixes too much paint when I actually remember the item numbers of things like that.
It's like talking to Ron about all the miniatures around here. It's staggering how much he knows all the numbers.
Yeah, Ron is incredible because those are thousands. Like, at least I only have to remember hundreds of paint colors. And I do definitely forget the stuff that goes out of print because my brain RAM doesn't want to process any more than it has to. Let's see. How did I do the other side of his snout? Yeah, it was done with green also, so... But maybe we can give away that bottle of Noir Black and the Explosion Orange, and those sample bottles look pretty ghostly.
I figure we could do something for Halloween.
Yeah.
Closer to that.
Oh yeah, we could do that. So we'll save that Noir Black. We'll think about making some Halloween-y schemes. We have 100 viewers. Awesome. What's our record? Is that our...
That
might be a record.
I believe this is a new number.
This is a record, guys. Woohoo us! Oh, Silverthorn, don't ask me for Sophie Silver. I hate making that thing. Anne's most hated paint colors to make. Sophie Silver is one of them. It's just a pain in the butt. Other much hated paint colors by Anne is Peacock Green is usually the other one that I cuss a lot about. It is very hard to get it to match. And Soft Blue. Issues with stream? Pezler, you shouldn't be early. We started on time. Eye Monster painted with pumpkin orange. Oh yeah, there we go. Try restarting. Candy corn colors. I can tell you what candy corn colors are. Actually, we probably have them right here. Like, I would use NMM Gold Highlight for the yellow, Explosion Orange for the orange, and Pure White for the white.
Or you could just get a bunch of candy corn and shove it on your minis.
You could, but that would get sticky very quickly. I don't know if we want sticky minis. I'm not sure that is actually a desirable trait for miniatures. You could certainly try. Sophie Silver came from, oh my God, was it a Reapercon or was it a... I may have just made it, Dr. Bob, to fill out a holiday. It wouldn't have been a holiday thing though. I honestly don't remember, but part of me thinks maybe it was a Reapercon color originally. What it is, it's kind of a special effects color. It's the reason it's hard to hit is that it is like it's a silver, but it uses kind of an iridescent blue flake. So it's just a little bit of a pain to mix. Anything that's complicated.
So it's a consistency issue that makes it not fun to make.
Well, it's more like trying to get the color right, because you got to get, it's got to have the blue flake showing through, but it's also got to have coverage, and it's also got to be, it's got to have enough white pigment in it to get it more coverage. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's such a novelty color. I'm always amazed that people love it so much, because it has, like, I look at it and I'm like, how would I use that? But I guess it could be useful, especially for highlighting like snowy things, if you want that kind of sparkly, kind of a magical effect for ice or snow. Sophie Silver could be very good. It was from ReaperCon. Thank you, Pesler. Yeah, see, even I don't have a perfect memory on that stuff.
Which one was 2014?
I would have to look at the t-shirt. Like, I have all my old ReaperCon t-shirts somewhere.
So that may have been the first trip to Dreadmere, or was it the year after that? One of those two is the first Dreadmere trip.
I thought it was, well, I guess that's 5 years ago, but I thought it was a little earlier than that, but I don't know, my memory's so crappy on that stuff. It makes a nice dragon silver. Yeah, I expect a Silverthorn because you can shade it really easily. Like if you threw some Twilight Blue into it, it would probably really be pretty for a shadow. All right, so I threw some purple onto the head, just tiny bits of it, just to make it not quite so green. It's pretty subtle right now, so it's not showing up a lot, but I'll do a little bit more. Because we are doing both green and purple, so. What paint is the green black and the blue black? All right, so the green black is Swamp Green, which is 9175. That guy, HRM Road Dog. The blue black is actually just regular pure black. It looks blue because of everything around it. The purple is runic purple. So if you're reading the purple as a bit of a blue, then you're dealing with runic purple, which is 9424, and it's just mixed with black. And I'm also using a little bit more of a bluish purple, which is the Styx purple, 9423. So some of it is likely that. That's not true, Dr. Bob, because the materials that we use, from the pigments that come to us in cans to the bases that come to us in buckets, are formulated within a certain threshold, but those thresholds are not always consistent, because some of the industries you're working with, they like have a certain window for what's acceptable, but it's not as fine or as precise as we would like it to be, because they're usually not working with anything as precise as our stuff. So like our colorants, like if a pigment can comes out just a little weak, then I have to adjust it. If our deep base has just a tad more white in it this time, I have to adjust it. So there definitely is a bit of art to it, even after you have a formula. And in fact, when you first formulate a paint, or when I first formulate a paint, I usually do it in a gallon, just a 1 gallon, because all of our formulas are in 1 gallon formulas, and then we can just multiply it up. But because there is some variance and lossage in the multiplication act, I usually adjust the formula after the first time I make a full 3 gallon batch. So I'll have the 1 gallon formula, and that'll be the base. And then I do have to adjust it. I actually match to the wet color Hudson because it's far more accurate. You can have two colors dry looking almost identical, but then you look at them wet and you see a definite variance. I just like to, if you match it wet, then you know it's on. Bexa, brush. I am currently using my favorite, which is the Da Vinci Maestro Series 10. There it is, 10 by my finger.
If you
size
want to get
1.
those, Ann, could you just get those at like Hobby Lobby?
Not Hobby Lobby. You usually find them at more upscale art stores, but dickblick.com, which is the big online art store, has them for decent prices. You can sometimes find them in local art stores, though, if it's an actual art store. Let's see here. Yeah. Yes, Shotokami, actually, yes. Probably not necessarily Styx because it's a little bluer, but if you were to, say, do a mix of runic with your royal purple, 9240, you should get a nice highlight. And then you could go up to this straight. Yeah, dickblick.com. Thank you, Reaper Miniatures. Thank you, Easter Bunny. Sorry, I'm dating myself with that commercial. And it's Halloween. It would be Halloween Bunny anyway. But yeah, so a lot of, Dick Blick has a lot of the good Kolinsky Sable brands. A lot of people use Winsor & Newton. Some people use Raphael. I like Da Vinci very much because I like the narrowness of this brush in particular. I also use a few other Da Vinci brushes if I need to paint something big. I like my Da Vinci, and this is a series 11. And the difference is the shape of the brush. So brush shapes and sizes. Let's talk about that, because a lot of people get confused about relative sizing. For one thing, you really can't trust that a size will be the same between brands. So like this size 1 Da Vinci may be a lot narrower or smaller than a size 1 in a different brush line. And then brushes within the same line, like these two Da Vincis, see how different they are, even though they're only one size difference. And the reason is this series. So you got a series 10 and a series 11. And what that means is, for Da Vinci, the series 10 is their standard brush. They'll call it a standard round, and that's just the shape. Whereas the 11 is called a full belly round. You see how thick that is down here? That's the belly of the brush is right here, down toward the ferrule. See how fat that is? So a full belly round is made to hold a lot of liquid. And when you're working, say, on a wet palette with thicker paint, the bigger brush is usually a little bit better. Because it's gonna, when you've got thicker paint, it can dry on your brush a little faster. And so if you have more paint on the brush, there's more fluid there, it can keep it wet for longer. Another thing to note about brushes is you might think that this is a bad brush because look, it's poofing now. Really, the way to test a brush is to get it wet. If you can get it wet and squeeze the water out of it, and your brush comes to a good tip, your brush is fine. If you wet it and it won't, or it keeps trying to split, then you've got a problem. You either need your brush cleaned, or if it's a brand new brush, then it's got faulty construction and you'll want to send it back and get a replacement. So there you go. There is some actual useful information about brushes. Thank you for asking. Ooh, we got a sub. Yay. How many subs do we have now? Do we have like 11?
That would be 11 with Jacob's Gift Bomb and Draskull here.
All
so
right.
9 more, and then we'll go
We'll add
to
another good
7
ghoulie bag.
ghoulie bags, so.
Yeah, we'll add another ghoulie bag to the giveaway. So if you've got friends who've thought about, like, say, using their free Amazon Prime sub, because, you know, if they're Amazon Prime people, they get a free sub every month.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. All you Amazon Prime members who have not yet subbed to Reaper Live, you can sub with your Prime and not have to pay anything else. It's a very nice way to reward your favorite streamers.
And they are, the ghoulie bag is what we give out during the Halloween time for people who do orders.
It's got candy and a special miniature and some paint. Usually I choose kind of the Halloween or spooky themed paint. It's paint that may be in production, but that a lot of people might not have. Usually it's from one of our first Kickstarters where we did a bunch of vampire and spooky colors. So I often will choose those colors. I think this time it's Fresh Blood and one of the awesome bone colors, Graveyard Bone. And Graveyard Bone is actually kind of a nice sub if you don't want to use stained ivory. It's a bit lighter and it's a little more neutral, not as yellow. So it's a good neutral for bone or for even for like pale leather if you want to do kind of an off-white leather. All these subs and not one damn pastrami in sight. Indeed, Blue's Clues. Achilles Blade, if you look at your Twitch dashboard, I think you have to do it on the desktop. Did we decide that last time?
It is easier. You can do them on both, but you're looking for the crown on the top right, and then you can go to, it's pretty easy to guide you.
Yeah, if you hit sub, it'll usually give you a drop-down menu with options, and one of those should be sub with your Twitch Prime. And the downside of Twitch Prime subbing is that it will not automatically renew in a month because they're trying to get you to spread your love around. But if you keep an eye on it, you can just keep renewing for the same person. That's what I do usually every month with my Twitch Prime sub.
I was doing Reaper Miniatures for a while.
Oh. And then, Ed and Ron just got too ridiculous and you decided not to?
Yeah. Try to move it around to some of our sponsees so I can watch
different
and get
sponsees.
their stuff.
Sponsees, that's a good thing. Dan Goodchild. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. Can you tell us about clear, bright colors? Oh, absolutely. I can tell you about clear, bright colors. Okay, so I think I actually have one, and I'm about to use it when I do his eyeball and his mouth. Maybe I should do that now. So we have these colors that I call clear brights, and they all start with clear. Oh, we got a follow. Magnus Air Studios, thank you. So what these are is they do have a little less coverage, but they are single pigments in a clear base. So they are excellent for mixing. They're also extremely bright. So essentially they really add a pop of really bright color to your miniature. The best way to use them, if you're trying to use them for that sort of thing, like I use the eye. See how bright that eye is on our painted dragon side? I used clear red to get that pop, and the way to get that is to undercoat that area with white, because that will make your somewhat clear paint look even brighter over the top of it. Oh, I'm not to my Patreon yet, Grim. So yes, clear brights, very useful. We've got a number of them. We gave away some new special ones for ReaperCon this year, and we're actually going to be having a triad of them that you haven't seen before come out with the new Kickstarter. I did some earthen clears, so I did like things like brown and yellow oxides. So they're actually going to cover a bit better than your standard clear colors because the pigment naturally has more coloration, but it's still a single pigment in a clear base. So these are fantastic for glazing, they're fantastic for mixing, and they're great for doing glowing effects or really just for that bright pop of detail. And then Grim asked about my Patreon. I have a Patreon for those of you who really like to hear me babble. It's called Painting Big. So it's patreon.com/paintingbig. I do a lot of work on bigger models on it, although I'm lately trying to adjust my cameras to get some more little miniatures in, and I do PDFs that feature smaller miniatures. So it is all pertinent. A lot of the techniques you use on big stuff are directly scalable between 28 millimeters and bust. I mean, it's just a different level of detail. So that is my thing, yes. And so there you go, Grim. And sub to Anne's Patreon, yes. Thank you. You get the brownie point, the gold star for mentioning my Patreon. Yes, you can absolutely use the clear brights as a glaze to tint. I do that a lot, RGE Wolf. Like if you've got a green that you've painted and you wish it was just a bit more intense, try glazing with clear yellow. Yes, love them for punching up the color, yeah. Yeah, ReaperCon Clear Orange is very, very nice. Yeah, clear and clear bright, same thing. Same thing. I chose that name just to differentiate them, because back when we first put these out, nobody was looking for single pigment paints really. The hobby hadn't quite progressed to that point, at least in far the popular consciousness goes. Now that a lot of people are looking for them, that it's just easier to just say, look for the ones with clear on them. And then, yeah, the new ones, the oxides and stuff, in the new Kickstarter just say oxidized, or the one is ochre yellow. So they're not quite clear since they have better coverage, but yes. Yes, you are going to get that Brutes Monkeys. It's called Ochre Yellow, and it is going to come out with Bones 5 Kickstarter. I don't know if we're getting busts in Bones 5. I can always dream, right?
Yeah, that's another thing that we've been pushing hard.
We've been trying to push hard. So many people want them. I'm going to undercoat our dragon's eye with white, just like I was talking about. I do a lot of this, underpainting. Whenever I want a detail to pop out or stand out, I will underpaint it with white over dark, and that helps to make sure that it stands out. And I might do 1 or 2 coats of white, depending on if I really feel like I need it. White covers pretty well over black, but sometimes you want a really solid layer, so we'll let that dry. Although you can see how bright that already looks. So essentially, how bright that looks against the black, because it's the highest level of contrast, right? Black to white. That's going to help us make that red eye really stand out. Clear paints do not compare to GW contrast paints. GW contrast paints are heavy washes, Evil Elvis. And they're not single pigments. They're different, they're various colors. Contrast paints are really interesting because, yeah, I mean, you could mix them, but having them out of the bottle for gaming painting is just really useful. They're a nice product. They essentially have created a specific base that's very fluid, which is nothing you'd usually find in a paint industry because it's very, very tuned to that specific use. Haven't tried doing busts, but having one pop up in Bones 5 would give you an incentive. Well, darn it, I don't know if Ron has probably already got everything chosen. Hi, Cleo.
You never know. There's enough pressure from our fans.
Yeah, fans, you need to continually bug Ed and Ron tomorrow night and every Thursday night for Reaper Live, where they get on and kibitz with each other about what's coming up. Lately, they've been previewing awesome stuff for Bones 5. I think they showed you guys the core set this last week, didn't they?
Yeah, that wasn't really by choice. I'd stuck them all on there, and they didn't even realize from
Ha ha! So you can blame Collins for that. But yes, so if you want to see what's new and hot and awesome, you can watch Reaper Live. If you don't catch it on Thursday night, you can always watch it on YouTube afterward. All right, so I've got a nice solid base coat on my eyeball there. Hey, it's Rhonda. Rhonda has joined us. Rhonda has joined it. You're not late to the party. You're fashionably on time? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Yes, now the party starts because Bird with a Brush is here. Yes, and Ron bug you. Yeah, well, it's time for you to turn it around. You must bug them and you must say, please give us a bust in Bones 5. Annoyance is like oxygen to those two. Dr. Bob, you are so on target with that comment. All right, so we have red, clear red, in fact, and I didn't thin it very much. Here, let's take a look at my palette. I haven't done that with you guys yet. So I use a well palette. I like it because I can make big paint puddles that stay at the right consistency. I do a little spot mixing, as you can see up here, just like I would on a wet palette, but I just have to, put it up on a surface and add a little water in, just if I want to, or if I'm quick doing something fast. But here, you can see that you can see a little bit of the palette through my clear red here, so I've thinned it a little bit. If I pull my brush through it, you can see that it's watery. Right, so if I dab it up here, you can see it's puddly. If I pull it out thin, you can kind of see through it. So you can see a little bit of that. You do want it to cover a little bit, but you want a little of that transparency because you want that white to really show through. So this is about the perfect consistency for starting this eye because it is a base color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mr. Dragon Eye. Load up your brush only about halfway with paint. Then take most of the paint off of it so that it makes a nice sharp tip like that, guys, because the point of a small thin brush is control. So definitely take advantage of that by not overloading your brush and by taking a lot of the paint off of it so that you get a nice tip on your brush. Then paint your clear bright over the top of the white and see how bright it looks. It is shiny and very vibrant. It stands out. That's a good start.
If we were to get some of that maybe on the eyebrow there or something like that, how would we get rid of that red?
Oh, that's easy. So, oh no, I accidentally painted some red on the eyebrow. Oops. Just paint over it, guys. Acrylic is so cool this way. Never panic when you make a mistake. Just let it dry. I mean, you can one way. You can grab some water. If you're fast, you can grab some water, throw water on top of it, and then just kind of scrub at it with your brush to see if you can take it up. If it's still wet, you have an excellent opportunity to just kind of scrub it off what you did before. But if it's already dried, it may be too late. You may have to repaint just a little bit. But acrylics are great at covering, and that means that repainting is not the pain in the butt it would be for watercolor or oil. It'd be impossible with watercolor. But yeah, so just touch it up. I would probably touch up the dark areas with the black, and then I would go back over the area where I accidentally hit red with a little bit of my olive green. But don't sweat it. Like, so what? You made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the freaking time. It's just that I make so many mistakes that I'm really laid back about fixing them. And it's like a fact of life of being an artist. You're going to make mistakes. When starting a piece like this, how do you decide with which black to start? It would really depend, Dan. I think when if I'm trying to do a black dragon and I know I'm going to use a couple of different colors to highlight it, I'm probably going to go straight with pure black because I don't feel I need the additional visual complexity of using one of the off blacks. If I was going to just highlight this by adding white or an off-white, then I probably would start with a black that had some color in it already. And because then that color would come out as I added white for highlights. But because this guy was going to already, and actually my other guy, for those of you who didn't see him, I guess it's time to show my other dragon again, because we probably have, how many people do we have on stream?
We're still breaking records here. We're at 112.
Oh my gosh, awesome. Okay, so guys, I'm going to go back. I showed this to the people at the start of the stream, and I'm going to show it to you now. This is a dragon from Bones 5. He's huge, as you can see. There, I'll put little guy next to him. So, huge dragon. Bones 5, going to be coming out. Bones 5 exclusive. And I'm painting him for Ron to be used in the artwork. And he's also a black dragon, because I thought he looked pretty swampy. So I am painting him black, but I'm using different colors again to highlight him. So what I'm still using is the swamp green that I love so much for black dragons, the 9175. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. 9175. But I'm mixing in to that swamp green, which is right here. I'm mixing in actual, I think it's oceanic blue. It's oceanic or tropical from the Bones line, which is a bright blue. I thought I would decide to see how that would work using the more organic swampy green and then using a brighter color for the highlights. And then I'm just adding white to those to get that. And this tealy color that's coming up as the transition is a mixture of that swamp green and that blue. And I'm using that to shade the yellows. Which are, for the yellows, I'm using the green ochre triad, so uniform brown, green ochre, and faded khaki. And then I'm adding a bit of white. So obviously I've had a lot more time to work on this guy, so he's looking pretty sharp right now. But you do not suck, Shawnold. Swampy dragon equals Cajun dragon. Yes, Frisian, he could actually be Louisianan. I'm not certain. Thanks, Rhonda. I really like how he's coming along, actually. I really like how these colors, because these are not colors I would normally choose, using the bright blue with a dark olive green. But I think it's really working really well. I think he's got a good ambient with him. This is another one where I'm using a very limited palette, and so it gives you that kind of, everything looks like it's kind of lit with a blue light, which I really love. So yeah, so just putz around with colors sometimes. Like pick a dark color and then pick a bright color and see what happens when you use them to highlight and shade each other. Sometimes you can get some really lucky reactions like with this guy. So anyway, this guy's really awesome. Mr. Big Fat Swampy Dragon. And you will see him on Bones 5. You may want him. He's got some really cool wing texture too. I haven't really done anything other than a quick base coat on the wings, but you can see he's got cool, let's see if I can get in. There we go. He's got a lot of really nice wing texture here.
And Reggie Wolf here has a question about Troxel, but I think it can kind of apply to any large.
Yeah, to any large dragon. Would I recommend staging as he was painted, or put him together and paint him together? It really depends when you've got a dragon, because you'll notice this guy is already put together, but part of that is the fact that he's the 3D print, Mr. Swamp Dragon is. So I didn't have a choice. Ron handed him to me already intact. So, and it has made some problems at getting it like down to his belly. It definitely made it difficult to hit some areas down there. So for dragons with me, I usually stage them like I'm doing with this guy. And I paint the wings for sure. I paint separately because it's just so much easier to do this and paint a wing like this than it is to try to hold this and paint a wing that's already attached. And then you're holding your hand awkwardly, and you're holding a heavy dragon, and you're rubbing paint off of things and stuff like that. So for me, with dragons, I very, very often, I will at least not put the wings on. This guy has all the other pieces of him attached, except for the paw that is specifically holding the other dragon's arm. That's the only reason, or leg. It's the only reason I don't have this paw on. But you do want to assemble what you can that's not going to make trouble for you, because when you're trying to highlight it and see where the light is coming from, you want to be able to hold the dragon in the pose to get the lighting correct. And if you haven't attached limbs and stuff, that makes it difficult. Shawnold, that's awesome. Definitely Cajun dragon with some celery. Don't forget some crawdads. Elves and crawdad. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to red eyeball here. I'm going to grab lantern yellow, which is a great orangey yellow. I tend to mix my own oranges when I'm doing something like this eyeball, just because I can. And because I'm using a clear bright, I absolutely can mix my own oranges because clear brights are made for mixing. So I'm using lantern yellow, 9407, which is a very orange yellow, as you can see. And you can see it must be friends with red because I've already spilled red on it. And I'm just going to mix these together, this in the clear red, to make an orangey highlight for the eye, and then I'm going to go up to pure lantern yellow for a spot highlight. If I can get this bottle to unclog because I use it all the time. So Reaper Pokey Implement, powers activate. There we go.
That is another thing that we've been talking about, trying to get
Pokey
into
implements.
Pokey tools.
We love our Pokey tools. The ones at ReaperCon were super nice because John dipped and polished them. So they were all satiny and shaded looking. Fantastic. All right, so clear red plus lantern yellow. Something to know about mixing reds and yellows is that your red is much stronger than your yellow. So even though I use the same amount of red and yellow for this mix, it is obviously much closer to red than it is to yellow. So if you're looking for a lighter or a medium, a more medium orange, use much more yellow than you do red. And I want quite a bit of difference because I want to be able. This is getting close to what I want. And then I want one that's extremely light orange. That's going to be a lot of yellow. And I'm going to throw some water in there because I want a little bit of transparency. Now I don't need to use very much water with this because it's a clear bright to start with. And so I know it's already transparent. This is kind of the nice thing. It takes a little getting used to with Master Series, but you will find that to get the right consistency for blending, you don't need to work with Master Series as much as some other paint lines because we do allow some natural transparency. And so you don't have to water it down as much as you might think to get it to the right consistency. Neurocog, Da Vinci Maestro. I use, pretty much for all my detail work, I use the Series 10 size 1. Remember that if you are using this brush, it works best with thinned paint because it's really meant to give you precision with a thinned paint mixture. These brushes were originally watercolor brushes, so always keep usage in mind. Yes, and as Reaper Miniatures linked, dickblick.com, which is a great art supply store and extremely dangerous when it sends you Christmas catalogs, is a great place to get all sorts of Kolinsky sable brushes. You're looking for sable watercolor brushes, usually, when you're looking for Kolinskys. I think you can also search by Kolinsky.
But don't forget, we also have our own liner brushes here that are amazing.
Yeah, and they're also Kolinskys. Reaper actually has a line of Kolinsky sables. They're a grade 2 Kolinsky, so they're quite a step up if you're used to using Taklons or just a cheapo red sable. And they're a little less expensive than the Da Vinci and the Series 7. They're still a really good way to try out a good sable and see if you like it. The size I like the best is the Aught 5, 0/5. Aught 10 is also good if you need a good detail brush. So what I'm doing is essentially I'm painting in concentric circles. So my biggest circle is the whole eye. My next smallest circle is the medium orange, and my much smaller circle is the light orange that I mixed. And I'm kind of concentrating the light toward the top of the eye and slightly forward because I want it to look like he's looking at his opponent. So if you're doing an eye without pupils, if you're just doing kind of the glowing monster eye thing, make sure you kind of locate your highlight kind of where your pupil would normally be pointing. It does make the dragon appear to be looking in a particular direction without directly doing a pupil. I kind of like, if it's not a dragon with a ton of personality or it's part of a diorama like this, or I just want it to be kind of the faceless monster dragon, I will often do just glowing eyes without pupils. I like the look. I'm going to get a little bit harder of a highlight in here. And then I'm going to put some pure lantern yellow right at the center to really make it glow. Here we go. So that's really starting to see how that's really coming up. Yay! Yes, the free today is going to be ghoulie bags. You can get them free instead of having to order them. And they come with an awesome transparent wraith, female wraith holding a lantern. She's purple.
We only need like 5 more subs to give another one away.
Oh, if we get 5 more subs, we can put another one on the docket to give away. That's what we're doing today. So we started out with a few, and now we are growing it depending on the amount of subs. So if you talk more of your friends into subbing to us or using their free Twitch Prime sub, so they don't even have to pay any extra money, then we can add another ghoulie bag to the giveaway. All right, I'm going to use pure lantern yellow now to highlight this eye toward the front and top. So he's definitely looking up at his opponent. He or she. I think it's a he, though. You definitely get a sense of dragon when you're painting it. You're just like, is this dragon a boy or a girl? You can kind of figure it out. So I'm going to just make a little tiny yellow highlight there to really focus his eyeballs. Yay, we got a sub. Woohoo, thank you for subbing. You will never know. That's a clever name. I mean, I had to stop and parse it out, but at least I know I will never know who that is. There we go. All right, so rawr. So he's got a really hot pinpoint of yellow light now. So definitely directing his gaze forward at the person or the dragon he is about to bite. So that head's coming along. I think it's time to do some horns. Horns and teeth. Have I ever considered participating in the 7-day Goblin Challenge? I haven't, Pezler. And, oh, what's the Goblin Challenge? Yes, you should tell people what the Goblin Challenge is, Pezler. Because there may be people here in this stream who have no idea and could benefit from this. I need a stronger color. What is the color in the ghoulie bag? We have graveyard bone and fresh blood, I think, Ishtar? I'm going to actually block in his tongue first because I realize if I'm painting his teeth, it's going to be hard to paint his tongue cleanly if I don't paint the tongue first. So I'm starting with a mixture of clear red and bright skin shadow. I like bright skin shadow a lot for organic things like mouths. I often will mix in a little bit of clear red to make it pinker. If I need a little more coverage, I'll mix in a little bit of white. And for highlights, I'll do this with a bit of white. Sometimes you can add a little bit of a yellowy color to this for highlights too, and it looks really good. Hunger fans, a subbed. Good, awesome. Thank you for the sub. More subs. Let's see here. Yeah, I just need to highlight a little bit. Just need to put, because most of his tongue's kind of in shadow, so I don't need to highlight too much of it. I'm using a darker pink. I'm going to mix in some of my runic purple because whenever I can repeat colors on a model, I like to do so. It gives, trying to get his tongue in there so you guys can see it.
Oh, Miss Ann, Time Stitcher just gave us our next iteration of a 10 sub giveaway, so we were up to 7 ghoulie bags to be given away.
Woohoo! You're giving away 7 ghoulie bags. Fantastic. 7 people don't have to spend money to get a ghoulie bag. That's lovely. Thank you so much.
Which that is the only way to get the miniature that's inside of it.
Yes, that's true. This is the only way to get that female wraith, that transparent purple female wraith. And I mean, transparent purple female wraith really should be enough to make you all want it anyway. Even before saying that it's Julie Guthrie and Bob Rodolphe sculpt.
Yeah, I think it's just Julie. I'm not sure. I thought
really?
It was a wrong
is
question.
it?
I don't know. Her name's the only one on the top of the.
Oh, okay. I thought it was both of them. My mistake. We all know that Julie hands over to Bob when she's sick of it anyway. That's the great thing about like being married to your co-sculptor is you can be like, honey, I really just don't feel like working on this right now. Can you please do some work on it? Argument for hobbyists marrying hobbyists. There we go. All right, so tongue.
Everlano of Darnassus. I believe it's $40 for the ghoulie bags when we start to turn them on, but I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah. Random candy. Usually we have a lot of Tootsie Rolls and taffy and type stuff and sweet tarts and things like that.
It's the Sam's goodie bag, basically. You know, those ones that are just full of all the random candies. That
there's
you get
Starburst in there.
Yeah.
Most of us are horribly addicted to the various taffies and Tootsie Rolls, so you know those are our favorites at Reaper. But it's candy.
Chef, they may have even said $60, which means they were probably right. Please don't quote me.
No.
But
I think that they're always wrong.
You know, there'll be an official statement announced somewhere through one of our official mediums.
Official.
Yeah.
Ron and Ed are not official, guys.
Yeah, when they just talk during the show,
Rhonda, yes, I think it was Bob makes Julie do the faces if he doesn't feel like it. Yes, I think that was totally, and I think Julie makes Bob do the hands when she doesn't feel like it. I'm painting the top of the dragon's mouth. I'm using a darker pink, more clear red in the blades, curved eye bleeding edges. Yeah, GW mold line remover is an improvement on the straight blade, and it does go over curves very well.
I like it too. It actually works pretty well on most of our bones models and our metal models as well.
Clockwork Dragon is super fun. Closer to miniature size. That's funny, Arcane Void. Freezer, yeah. Akuma, I think on our Reaper forums, we have a show-off, and we've also got, I think, a work-in-progress forum. So you can actually add pictures up there, and I think also people post it on our Facebook. Correct me if I'm wrong, Collins?
The best place probably at this juncture is to utilize Facebook, our Facebook group for that. However, I believe Bird with a Brush could also guide you as well.
Oh, does Rhonda have a question out of a thing or whatever? I know, Rhonda. Where's the best place to put up works in progress and show off minis these days to see they have the community see it? I guess it depends if you want feedback or not. Our community is very supportive. I'm just doing a little bit here on the top of the mouth. Most people don't even see the top of the mouth unless they look underneath the dragon. But since this dragon is kind of turned around, I want to make sure I do a little bit. So I'm just kind of hitting the ridges on the inside of his mouth. There we go. Now I can get back to the teeth and the horns. I need to mix up some new colors. His head is coming along though, right guys? Look, he's like getting there. Like after the horns, horns and teeth, he's pretty much good. Oh, and his ear. I almost forgot, and I used this color for his ear too. So he's got kind of a little bit of the pink fleshy color on the interior of his ear, so I'm gonna do that quick. Anne's Discord has a place. Yes, my Discord is Patreon. If you become a patron of mine, we do have places to post up your work, and we encourage each other and give feedback. I have a nice. I really like my Patreon community. You're all awesome. I know a lot of you tune into the stream. I really appreciate it. Yay! Okay, dragon ears. Just putting some pink. I like to put, when I use a color on a dragon or on a creature, on a monster, on anything, I like to repeat it somewhere. So the fact that his mouth is the only pink part was bugging me, and I figured that his ear might also have some pink on the inside of it, just like other animals' ears do. So I thought I would do that and introduce that color. So that's why his ears have some pink in it. Lets me use the color in more than one place. So I started out with a mixture of clear red, runic purple, and a bit of that bright skin shadow that I like so much. Nice fleshy color for natural stuff. Pink ears would be a mighty name for a dragon. I would want bigger ears if that dragon's name was Pink Ears, because, you know. Hello, green. Hey, Bob and Julie are here. Hello, Bob and Julie, green users. I was just working on giving the dragon pink ears, and everybody said that it needed to be named Pink Ears. I'm disagreeing there, but, you know. Twitch chat is almighty. They may get their way. Yes, the sculptors of this dragon, the sculptor of this dragon, Julie Guthrie, is here in chat with us, guys. Bow down. For she is all draconic.
Bird with a Brush, Miss Rhonda Bender had a great answer for the where to put work in place.
Oh, where is it?
Whips. Hopefully you can see it.
I see part of it. Continue. I see I've lost the first part of it.
So the Reaper forums are great if you want to continue for a continuing series for work in progress. You can add pictures for your progress over stages over time. Also a great place for feedback. The Facebook group, on the other hand, is great to show off when you're completed with your miniatures.
Oh, good idea.
You can kind of share that kind of end result.
Thanks, Rhonda. I hadn't been on the Facebook group recently, so I wanted to make sure I was giving the right directions. There we go. Pink Ears the dragon has pink ears. We must ask Reaper sculptors to make a dragon with massive ears now so we can paint them pink and name him Pink Ears. I don't know. Well, you know, like I said, you never know. You never know who's listening. That would be like a bunny dragon, though. Do we need a bunny dragon, guys? Be like, what would a bunny dragon look like? I seen cat dragons. I haven't seen bunny dragons. Obviously, we're falling down here. I'm just going to put a final little highlight of a little bit of bright skin shadow with a little bit of white mixed in, just to make that ear stand out a bit. And I'm going to put another highlight, the same color, on the tongue, because if we use little spot white or off-white highlights, it suggests both it brings out the details and it can also suggest moisture, so it can suggest the tongue is wet. And I may put a couple of lines down the middle of the mouth to do the same thing. Little dots, because tongues are pebbly, to make that stand out a little bit more. It's a little bit hard to get in focus, but you get the idea. All right, now it's claws and teeth time. Bunny brass dragon with goofy smile. Bunny dragon. Maybe we should do a bunny dragon for Easter. Is Bones Black new sculpts or no new materials? Both?
In most cases, it's both. The material is just a little bit better than, not better, better's not the right word. It's a little bit more rigid than our original Bones material, which makes it hold detail just a little bit better. So what you'll see in the future, both in the Bones 5 Kickstarter and just in general for us, our larger models will stay in those Bones original, just to kind of keep, at that size, you don't really need the rigidity. You're kind of trading off the ability for things to be broken. So hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and traditional Bones, it looks really good on large scale models anyway. Arcane Void, that's really funny. Bubbles is a great name for a black dragon. I fully endorse this. All right, so I'm using a 50-50 mixture of russet brown, 91.99, and stained ivory, 91.42, to create a brown color to start my teeth and horns with. I like using stained ivory to highlight russet brown. Russet brown is a very useful color, by the way, a 91.99. It's our equivalent for like an artist's burnt umber. So it's a very utilitarian, warm, dark brown. Can you kit bash Bones Black minis? You can, Cleo, but it just won't quite, I bet it doesn't glue together quite the same way as regular Bones, because it's just not quite as flexible. So it's probably a little harder to do.
We played around with it when we first got some of the Bones Black stuff, and we found that it actually works just as well.
Really, it's a little. Even though it's harder, it's a harder material. It's not.
When you're cutting what you need to away from it, I mean, you're trying to be a little bit more difficult or a little bit more careful there. But as far as the actual them going together and being able to then paint them afterwards, it works just fine.
All right, cool. Collins with the answers today, guys. Man, Justin might not get invited back if this keeps up. That serves him right for running off to Florida. Being on the beach. Yes, it's Anne again, Lady B Miniatures. I know, I'm always here. Although I will be out for a bit in November, so I'll be slacking in November. But then I will be back in December, and we will continue for as long as it takes us to finish this monstrous project.
So we'll probably have some fun time with Edward
yes.
in November.
Yes, probably. Maybe some guests. Maybe we can fly in a Bird with a Brush or a Michael Proctor and have them do a stream. That would be kind of fun. Actually, it'd be fun to have Rhonda on and doing a stream because she tunes in. So you could see Rhonda live in person.
Yeah. All options are on the table.
We'll see what we can convince people to do. But yes, I'll need some guest hosts. Yeah, finished in Reaper Toolbox episode 250. Shotokami, you are not joking, because, it's two dragons fighting. It takes a long time. If I would have thought about this before I chose these models, if I would have honestly asked myself, hey, Anne, how many hour-and-a-half sessions is it going to take you to finish this? I probably would have decided not to do it. So you should all be happy that I didn't think about that, because it is kind of cool to be able to do such a big project and to see it slowly get completed week by week. It definitely, though, every once in a while I'm probably going to want to take a break and show you guys some stuff on different models. Bones 5 will be good for that in October. I think we might take a couple weeks to do a little bit on some of those models upcoming, like Mr. Swampy Dragon, who actually has a name, and Ron told me his name, and I don't remember it, so that's my fault. He is not actually Mr. Swampy Dragon, but it's just what I call him. It's his working name. It's his pet name. It's like show dogs, where they have a show name that's all crazy, and that you can never remember or pronounce or spell. And then you've got a pet name like Duke. Yeah, that's what we have with the dragons. Especially when Ron names them. K. Windy LaRue, don't tell Ed that you loved that. It will only encourage him. Yeah, Anne's three-legged stool for milking paint projects. Ugh. How kit bashable are Reaper bones? Extremely. So easy to cut through them.
There's some really good classes every year, or that's been going on for a few years now. That
At
Jason
ReaperCon.
Wiebe and Gene Van Horn and Bobby Jackson put together, where they just dump buckets of the bones stuff on the table, and people just bash them and bash them.
Yep, Bones Kit Bash Extravaganza at ReaperCon every year. Super fun, and you've got actual sculptors, professional sculptors there to show you how to make things go together better. And it's just a fun time. Fun and relaxing. And that's always good at a convention. So I'm going in now to do some base colors on the bones. I've set up my teeth with a mixture of 50/50 russet brown, 91.99, and stained ivory, 91.42. And I'm going to go and do that with the horns up here now. And with the big horns, I'm going to actually do kind of some streaks along them, like striations, as if they've got some texture. So I find that with big horns that are smooth, it can help to make them a little more interesting, to kind of introduce a little bit of stuff like that. You can see it on the big horn. Because sometimes with these with smaller dragons, you don't get a lot of sculpted texture, and that's fine. It lets you kind of choose what to do. And it can help when you've just got big, huge, mostly smooth horns. Yes. Games Workshop, also easy to kit bash for the same reason, because it's softer plastic and easier to carve.
Plastic glue, super easy on their stuff. Just kind of melts it.
Yep, melts it together, exactly. Also makes it easy to repose. There we go. What time is it, Collins?
We are currently at 2:37.
Oh, wow. So we're getting close to the end. Well, that's good, because I'm almost like done. Look, the head. The head is almost done, guys. We set out to start to finish something today, and we did it.
And
Let's see
it's
here.
looking like we have almost 140 viewers right now. So we're dominating.
Wow, that is
your record.
super record. Like, we dumpstered our previous record with this stream. I'm really happy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I will try to reward y'all by being entertaining and educational for the future if you continue to tune in. And yeah, I'll have to look at the top secret stuff coming up in Bones 5 and pick a couple models to demo a few, maybe just some specific techniques on a couple of the upcoming Bones models. Since obviously when the Kickstarter only runs for a month, I won't have time to do an entire model. But I could probably show you some stuff on like something like Mr. Gigantic Dragon, Mr. Swampy Dragon, and other stuff that may be coming up. So actually, like if there are specific painting topics that you are interested in seeing me demo,
those are always great.
Say so.
Yeah, absolutely. And questions, make sure to send those to the reaperlive at reapermini.com. That way we can be prepared for that kind of stuff. If there's things that we need to gather, that's typically what I do when Justin's actually here, is prepare that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes, and we do try to announce that it's coming up as much as we can. So I'm glad that got you guys to tune in. And let's see, what is next week? Yeah, I'll be here again next week, painting dragons. Are we into October next week? Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we will be day 2 of
that'll be
Kickstarter.
exciting. Maybe I'll have to grab something that we previewed, or maybe something from Corset, and see what we can do.
A little bit of planning and forecasting, and maybe we can get you showcasing something that is next on the block.
Ooh, that would be pretty cool. Then everybody would have to tune in. We would want to like announce it. We could even announce it on a Kickstarter update. Like include it in a Kickstarter update. Not that anybody ever reads those things, but you never know. Might get us even more people. Some D&D minis from Reaper Bones or Series 5. So like character models, Lady B miniatures? Yay.
I guess the real question maybe Chad can answer for us. What kind of models are they looking forward to seeing in Bones 5?
Oh yeah, what do you guys,
Like,
I
we
see
got
one of you
some-
is like the loves the dragons, your daughter loves the dragons. That's cool. I
Maybe-
love the dragons too, and there's so many good dragons coming up in Bones 5. Amazing dragons everywhere. Oh yeah, we have to do our, get your hashtag free in, guys, if you want to win a ghoulie bag that you don't have to pay extra money for to get. Female Wraith. Yep, shiny female wraith with a lantern and candy and paint. Tootsie Rolls are always worth it, especially when they're hashtag free. So you guys get the gist here. I'm going to bring the horns up a little bit more and the teeth a little bit lighter, just like you can see I brought the teeth up. So now I'm going to bring the horns up that way, and we have finished our dragon face. We'll have to think about what we want to do. I'm probably going to end up doing something for Bones 5 next week then. Something fresh, something new, something exciting. And then we'll go back to Mr. Dragon. We'll give Mr. Dragon a little bit of a rest.
Still contemplate on the other half of that model.
This guy? The other dragon? The unnamed dragon? There we go. I kind of should have done that color. That in this color. He's got a little bit of membrane under his eye there, so I probably should do that with a touch of reddish pinkish color. There we go. There we are. Mr. Dragon. Can't see the horns seem to blend in? Yeah, I need to lighten them a little bit more. Part of it is the lighting in here, and part of it is just me.
Can we get a full face for like a front profile shot of this guy?
Rawr. Rawr.
He's getting ready to get you.
Rawr. Yeah, you're right. The other horn comes up higher, Dr. Bob, so I'll take that up more toward white on the outer tip. But I need to thin my paint a little bit to do that nicely, so let me just do that and block this in a little bit. Kind of want to blend it, but since I'm going fast, I want to wet blend it, so wet blending, very useful tool if you're going fast. I'm going to grab some white. There we are. Ta-da. Let's get the bottom side. Recommended light setup when painting. Yeah, lava being actually, and this is not it. But the problem is if we introduce close-in lights on with this camera, it really bleaches everything out. So when I'm home, if you guys are familiar with the ReaperCon lights, it's essentially an LED light with variable brightness and color levels. Tautronics, I think, is the brand. I like LED lights because they're really hard to break. They're good to travel with. You don't have to keep buying bulbs for them. They're usually light on power. There we go. So it's a little dusty, but Tautronics is the brand. They have a couple different lights. It's a foldable light. There we go. All right. Haha. So this is what I usually use at home. I have one of these, and I've actually got a couple of big lights when I'm doing my video stuff for my Patreon. The big lights help to flood the area with even light so that the camera can really focus on the model. But here we're doing a slightly different setup with different types of cameras. So we're doing a different lighting setup, essentially. So we adapt. We move forward. Cost on the LED light, Grim, these are around $40. This is the older version. But I mean, pretty darn nice. And they deconstruct and fold up in your luggage really easily. They're fairly lightweight. I like them a lot. Cool. Could paint a clear mini. Yeah, you almost have to. Cleo, you've got to use clear brights with them almost. And you want to like shade and highlight and still leave some of the clear.
I had a lot of fun using our
Where to source the Reaper polo shirt. You got to be an employee. Actually, this is like from 12 years ago, and when I lost weight, I actually fit in them again, redacted. So I actually had 2 of these. It was fantastic. Yeah, one of the OttLights. Yeah, 3-light floor lamp. Yeah, for a scene, I've got one of the 3-light floor lamps. It's nice because you can bounce one light off the ceiling, get a little bit of indirect light. I used to use that for my 2D art all the time. All right. Yeah, Coobs, it's really hard to get your ideal camera set up, to figure it out. It took me a few months of doing videos for my Patreon to really dial it in, and even now, I'm just finally getting the equipment where I feel like I can get really close on a 28mm model while being able to video it effectively. It's really challenging trying to figure out what you need for a lighting setup and everything else, and a backdrop, stuff like that. So just keep working on it. It is doable. May I suggest a medium light gray for your backdrop? Because just like this is even a little bit dark on the desk here, but it tends to work fairly well. And also I tend to prime in a light gray or in a different color so that when I'm trying to video, if it's white or black, the camera has a hard time with it.
do a little bit of contrast so that you can still get the pickup, but you don't want it so drastic that your camera has a hard time.
Yeah, because especially if you're using a webcam, they are really bad at white balance. So you really have to.
About autofocusing. Get real careful with those.
Yeah, you have to turn off your autofocus, figure out, and you gotta that's why we use Mr. Little Tape Square here, is to keep me where I can anchor my hand so I know that I'm in frame and I know that I'm at optimal focus. And even then, I'm always double checking on the screen. Keep calm and use more purple cup. Yeah, that was a ReaperCon cup. We should do that one again. I think we do various things on them. We usually use the ReaperCon logo these days, but I would like another keep calm and use more purple.
This year's was pink and it had the Pizza Dungeon Dragon on it.
Yes, this year's was pink. Other than bubble wrap to prevent paint from rubbing off the mini. RGE Wolf, that for big minis, that's really my go-to because you can't really mount it on anything. I mean, if you can, like, I could probably at this point mount this dragon on his actual base, maybe, but the fact that he's kind of entwined with this other dragon makes it hard. But if there comes a point where I can mount the model on some sort of base, like one it comes with, without interfering or getting too complicated, yeah, I'll do that. So that I can avoid, because this guy's tail is going to be, like, I'll probably paint his tail after he's already mounted on the base permanently, because otherwise I'm using the tail as my holding platform. So it's okay, Lebrowski. We will be back at ReaperCon next year. And it's the last weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend, so just mark your calendar so you don't can't schedule anything else. I think I'm using a Logitech 920 or the next thing. Yeah, get Logitech, what's Logitech's suite of controls? Logitech Digital Control Center or something like that. There's an app for it, Kuv, that you can turn off autofocus, and you can also manually tune the focus. And also the white balance, contrast, all of that stuff. They've got an app for it. Yeah, ReaperCon is always on Labor Day weekend, at least for the next few years. It's where they locked us in. So you can plan in advance. Reaper used to have a presence at PaizoCon in the Pacific Northwest. Graded table. We do, like, I went out to teach in San Francisco at KublaCon recently this year. But otherwise, as far as Seattle, other than PaizoCon usually having a paint and take that's sponsored by us, I'm not certain that we could do anything else up there. Yeah, bubble wrap. Get the soft bubble wrap with the small bubbles. All right, are we ready to do that drawing, Mr. Collins?
Absolutely, if you guys are ready to go.
You guys ready? Remember your hashtag free if you want ghoulie bags.
Give them a couple minutes to get those last ones.
Oh yeah, Ontario to Texas is a bit of a drive, Coos. It's worth it though if you're into the art side. ReaperCon is really painting and sculpting extravaganza con. Gaming cons, there are definitely better gaming cons, but for painting, I don't think there's a better con on the planet. All right. PAX Unplugged. We usually do PAX Unplugged, don't we, Collins?
We did the San Antonio stuff. I will tell you guys in chat that we have kind of reevaluated how we were going to do cons this year. So we pulled out of a lot of our convention stuff just to kind of reevaluate how we wanted to do that moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an Ed's court, I believe.
Yeah, that would be an Ed question. We do not do Origins anymore. We pulled out of Gen Con a while ago. Essentially, what we have is we're, even though we look big, we're still a very small company, but we're getting busier and busier. So we really had to, as Colin said, we really have to reevaluate how we're using our resources, and most of that resources is people. Because when we have to take 4 people off of out of the company that are responsible to go and do a big con, and then line up volunteers and arrange all of that stuff, and then the logistics of getting to the show, the cost of getting to the show. And then it comes down to, are we just hemorrhaging money, So Reaper, we're at a point, as Colin says, where we're reevaluating that and trying to figure out a cost-effective way to do conventions. Because we do love, we still support a lot of paint and takes. They can people contact us for con support all the time. We send models and paints and signage. So we have a presence there. But I know Ed really was focusing a lot on just getting ReaperCon growing at this point, now that we have a great venue.
Sweet. So if everybody's ready, I will go ahead and toss out our winners, and then we'll just make sure that if you win, you send your name, your Twitch handle, and your address to reaperlive@reapermini.com. I will caveat that these won't get processed until Justin gets back, so that you're looking at about an extra week's worth of wait than usual, but just bear that in mind.
Time Stitcher and other people who would like to see, not necessarily like Reaper, but people like me, Reaper artists, often get to the cons to teach. Like I said, I taught in KublaCon this year. I taught a couple of classes out in the Bay Area. So on occasion, people like me or Rhonda or whoever may get to one of your smaller local cons to teach, not necessarily sponsored by Reaper, but just because we'd like to go to cons and to meet you guys. So that's always a possibility. I would love to come to Australia, actually. So I need to obviously locate an awesome con in Australia that's willing to fly me in.
Always searching for ways to get out of our country to visit yours.
Yes.
All right, if you guys are ready, I'm going to
Bingo
announce our 7
cage.
winners.
Do it!
Here we go. Nairo, HM Road Dog, the Reventine, SP Abs 49, Neurocog.
Yay, Nagiro.
Do Not Mind Me, M5 tie-in. So
Fantastic.
see your name showed up in the chat.
Yay,
Be sure
everybody.
that you do the appropriates.
Yep, make sure to look at the Reaper Miniatures thing. Be sure to message reaperlive@reapermini.com with your name, Twitch handle, and address. Congrats to everybody. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. What do we peak at, Collins?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll have to check afterwards. 'Cause right now we're at 141.
Woo!
So it would be interesting to see what our actual unique viewers were versus most at one time.
Right. Oh, we busted our records on this stream. Fantastic. Thank you everybody for recommending our stream to your friends and family members, and spreading the word that if you want to watch some chick paint a dragon, more or less okayly, this is the place to be, and for random painting questions. So I hope you guys have a great week, and next week we'll be back with some random Bones 5 model. Maybe we'll have a random encounter table of Bones 5 models. We'll just have to roll a dice.
Ooh, I like that.
I did that for my Patreon recently, where I needed them to choose the next video topics, so I had them all roll D20s. And that was their selection for the poll. They got to choose from those topics.
I'm a huge fan of the chaos, so
yeah,
we'll
me
see
too.
if we can get that happen.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, says Mr. Dragon.